Welcome to Daily Office Devotions, where every Monday through Friday we ask how God might direct our lives from that day's scripture readings as given in the Book of Common Prayer. I'm Reggie Kidd, and I'm grateful to be with you this Wednesday of the week in which Epiphany takes place, 13 days after Christmas, on January 6th. The Feast of St. John, which took place on December 27th, provided the opportunity to consider the soaring perspective of John's written portrait of Christ. John details how the Bible's great I Am takes onto himself a human body and comes among us with sandaled feet. For the days that immediately followed January 1st's Feast of the Holy Name, the daily office lingers over some of Jesus' I am statements in John's Gospel. John chapter 14. Today's reading reminds us that Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. As the way, Jesus doesn't simply point us in a certain direction. He guides us along the way. As the truth, Jesus doesn't just hand us a book of truths, he becomes our teacher. As the life, Jesus doesn't merely accessorize our life, he becomes our life. I'm so grateful for that grand reality. Exodus chapter 3 and Moses. Our understanding of Christ is always enhanced when we understand him against the backdrop of the Old Testament. And so, in Exodus chapter 3, Moses encounters the great I Am, Yahweh, in the burning bush on Mount Sinai. His feet are on holy ground, and so he must remove his sandals. Yahweh promises deliverance for the people whose sufferings at the hands of their oppressors have moved him. What is striking to me is that the sign he gives by which his people will know that they are finally free is that they will be able to return to this wilderness mountain to worship him. And I will be with you. And this shall be the sign for you that it is I who sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God on this mountain. Exodus chapter 3, verse 12. The whole point then of gaining freedom is not to win accountability-free, consequence-free self-expression, but to enter into a relationship consisting of worship, service, and obedience to the great I Am himself. Freedom is not making up our own rules. Freedom is being won over by the amazing love of God and loving him in return and our neighbors as ourselves. Oh, dear Jesus, give us grace in this coming year to taste the freedom of finding our way to the Father through you, the way, the truth, and the life. Hebrews chapter 11. And the means, the way to this freedom is faith. The way to the Father goes through Christ, and the way to Christ goes through faith. In the heart of today's gorgeous paragraph from Hebrews chapter 11, the writer claims that millennia before Jesus Christ came to this earth, faith in him already motivated Moses. Moses considered abuse suffered for the Christ to be greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking ahead to the reward. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 26. All the Old Testament heroes and heroines of the faith, in today's reading, Moses' parents, Moses, the people who passed through the Red Sea as if it were dry land, and Rahab, the prostitute of Jericho, all these could only look ahead by faith to a Christ whose features they could barely catch a glimpse of from afar. It is as though they were looking through the wrong end of a time telescope. Our great privilege is that for us, the telescope has been turned around. We see the one who has come in the flesh. The challenge to live by faith is still ours, but now we have not only the examples of those who came before, but also the living support of the Christ who has come and who right now ever lives to intercede for you and for me. Hebrews chapter 7, verse 25. Throughout the coronavirus pandemic that began in early 2020, members of our sister church All Saints Episcopal Church in Winter Park, Florida, encourage their neighbors with this sign in their front yards: "You are not alone." That is so true. I pray that by faith you know the presence of the great I Am. I pray that Jesus is or will become the way, the truth, and the life for you all the way through the challenges and opportunities of the coming year. Be blessed this day.